I know that we appeal as discussed in executive session.
Second, I ask for a roll call vote.
Roll call.
There will be discussion.
Yes, we can, at the time you're called, we can make roll call.
Well, wait a minute. Do I understand that Steve wants to discuss the motion on the floor?
Okay.
Then now's the time.
Yeah, if you're one.
First and second, this is discussion.
Right.
Yeah, if you're, yeah.
That's what I said, yeah.
Go ahead.
This
I thought
is,
you wanted to explain your vote. You do it
I'll do
on the
that.
vote, okay.
This is a difficult situation we find ourselves in, and I don't have the luxury of serving on this board when it was when the inception for this deal transpired. So I'm kind of about 20,000 feet up looking down, and nobody wants economic development and job growth in Pima County more than I. I worked for it all my life in business as well as my post-business career, and I want nothing more than for Worldview to succeed. I wish they hadn't put the face of the balloon rides as the corporate entity example, because there's so much more to Worldview than balloon rides. I want to see Worldview succeed. I want to see job growth. I want to see a successful Worldview. Having said that, I have to say that one of the issues that I find troubling, and maybe it's the fact that I'm new to this, but my business experience tells me to speak on it, and that is we're jumping right to a legal remedy. And I hear and I see nothing from the county that offers some kind of an attempt to have communication with the Goldwater folks to find out if there's any common ground, if there's anything the county and Goldwater can do to resolve this issue, so we can put it aside and see if there are remedies available that satisfies the Goldwater people and allows Worldview to continue. We're jumping on this particular motion right into an appellate situation that's going to take county taxpayers' time and money to follow, with no guarantee of a resolution. I learned in business that one thing you want to do when you become involved in a potential court case is stay the hell out of court. And I think the best thing that we could do is to try to make some kind of an overture to the Goldwater folks to see if there's something that we can do to remedy the situation that satisfies them and allows Worldview to continue. Secondly, I do feel that this whole transaction was not put together in a proper or professional way to begin with, and hence that's where we find ourselves today in court. If we had maybe taken more deliberative time, if we had some study sessions on this, if we had more public input and transparency, we would not be finding ourselves in a courtroom situation with much litigation pending. And I think this is a valuable lesson that if we're going to get serious about economic development, that we have to do it in the right and proper way. I have always been a follower of rules, and I've preached that to my family, and I've preached that to my employees, that you follow the rules. And a rule has been handed down by a judge that says there are specific problems with this transaction. Granted, there is an appellate process, but it seems that we in our community as well as our country are too quick to say that when we get a ruling from a court that we do not like, that, quote, the system has failed. No, the system has worked. It's just that you didn't like the results of the system. Results. So, in this particular case, I am going to vote against appealing this decision from the judge, and it's my only way that I can show that my dissatisfaction with how the deal initially was made, and hopefully it will show us that this is not the way we do our economic development transactions in the future, and instead of appealing the process, that we work with Goldwater and Worldview and the county together to try to find a resolution in this matter. So my vote will be against the appeal process.
Madam Chair.
Supervisor.
I can understand Supervisor Christie's concern, and a little bit of a problem with it, in the sense that there's plenty of time to reach a settlement in this with Goldwater that would be fair, that would be equitable, that would be made together with them. There's absolutely plenty of time and opportunity for this, but it's different than the private sector. Here at the county, the public's business has to be done in public, and that's what we are doing here today.
Finally.
And we are preserving our right to appeal. And I think that's the proper thing to do, given the circumstance that we have. Certainly, I'd like to stay out of court. Certainly, I'd like to see some kind of equitable settlement come forward. But I'm firmly dedicated to following the rules myself, and the rules dictate that the public's business is done in public.
Supervisor.
One
One of the things I'd like to be very clear on is no one supports economic development any more than I do. However, roughly a month ago, I sat here and put my hand in the air and I swore to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona. And I could not, in good conscience, vote to approve this deal, number one. To this day, I still have not received any financial information from Worldview, and apparently I'll never get that information. And number two, when I swore to uphold the Constitution and the laws of the state of Arizona, I take that extremely seriously. And apparently, I'm not the only one that read 11-256 the way that I did before we voted on this, and I warned about this, that there is a process and there are rules, and if you read that statute, we're supposed to get an appraisal and actually hold a public auction to the highest bidder greater than 90% of the fair market value of that lease. We did not do that. So I am going to vote against this appeal as well.
Madam Chair, you know, there's a lot has been said, and even more has been made up about this deal. During the discussions that we had last year, the amount of things that were being put out there, the lack of factual basis were considerable. But it was easier for people to believe that. And the truth is, I voted for this deal last year because I thought it was a good deal. I will tell you that, is there a conflict in law? Yes, but it is a conflict between one statute and another statute. Not one statute and choosing to violate this one. It's two separate statutes. So the question then begs is, well, are there other counties who have done this? And the answer to that is yes. So then that begs the question, why Pima County? Why is it that we are being singled out in this particular case? I don't know. But the truth is, we have a lot of questions to ask. And the truth is, the system exists so that these types of questions can get clarification and get answers. And just because one judge says something, anybody who's been in court or who has had an attorney or who's been in the legal system itself understands that this is a little bit like judging how a baseball game is going by the first pitch. That was a great first pitch. I know how this is going to turn out. I don't.
Just like the Super Bowl.
Or like the Super Bowl by the first touchdown. Thank you, Madam Chair. The truth is, as I intend to support this appeal, and I still support this appeal because I don't believe that anything inappropriate was done. This is one small question in an overall case, and frankly, there was nothing improper done. As I said before, it is not this board or this county choosing to break one law. It is one law here says one thing, and another law says another. And it's really funny to me that we're the only ones that are being sued by Goldwater.
Right.
So with that, Madam Chair, I intend to vote aye.
Thank you. I would just echo the views of Supervisor Elias and Supervisor Oliver. Number one, we need to conduct this in public. We don't need to do it behind closed doors with Goldwater. And number two, these are conflicting statutes. If we in not only Pima County, but in the state of Arizona, the 15 counties in Arizona, are serious about economic development, and I think the statute we relied on in crafting the worldview piece must prevail. And I think will bring some clarity with the law. Should we get to the appellate, again, the motion that is on the floor gives us the ability to appeal if and when certain legal procedures occur. And I don't think we can close out those options. I think we need to move forward. We need to grow the economy. If we grow the economy, we grow the health and well-being of all the residents of Pima County. And I intend to vote yes. Roll call.
Supervisor Christie?
No?
Supervisor Elias?
Aye.
Supervisor Miller?
No.
Supervisor Rodriguez?
Aye.
Chair Bronson?
Aye. Motion carries. We're now going to finish with call to the audience.